back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 248. Aaron, we've come finally to the end of... he's a little happy over there.
Very
the
excited.
End of the season. Again, I said it last episode. I've been looking forward to this for a very long time. Not because I haven't enjoyed watching Sharks hockey, because I have, honestly, this season. It's been enjoyable, both on the ice and especially off the ice with a lot of the antics and things that are going on. But I can't wait to see what happens afterwards, right? The things that are happening in free agency, the draft, the draft lottery is going to be exciting. There's more stuff to come that I'm more interested in because we already knew the Sharks were going to be just about this bad.
I'm not as excited for the draft lottery just because there's not that high-end talent that's going to be the first overall pick like there was last year with Celebrini. But also the Sharks now have had a first overall pick, so it's not as exciting. I mean, not that I wouldn't enjoy it. Obviously, it would be great, right? You're going to be adding a great player no matter what.
We got the first again, ho-hum.
But I'm more excited about the free agency.
Yeah.
Because, and we'll get into this later, but Logan Couture's not retirement. It's not a retirement.
Okay.
He's stepping away from hockey. He's going to go on long-term IR, and his salary is going to come off the books. That's another $7 million off the books, which means $7 million more away from the floor to get to be compliant in the cap space. So Mike Greer's going to have to be spending a lot of money this summer, and there's a lot of high-end free agents that will be available. So that's what I'm more excited about.
A little bit of housekeeping here. Kristian, thank you for becoming a member. Do appreciate that. We have to figure out more of what we're doing with the membership to give some benefits. I do want to say, however, that we talked about this last time, and I'll pull up the black eye one because it's more hilarious to me. These packs of cards and whatnot. I don't know if it's focused. There it is. These packs of cards that we have, we're going to be opening some of these up, and when we have good hits, I guess, we'll be maybe giving them to some fans, and I'm pretty sure that if you're a member, you're going to end up with something out of the box for sure. So I'm just going to put that out there. I don't even know if they've discussed this or not, but I'm going to say that's what's going to happen.
How do you become a member? CJ wants to know.
You have to click buttons is all I know.
When you're on youtube.com/thefinfactor, our main homepage on YouTube, there's a button that you can click. I think it's right next to the subscribe button.
Okay.
And it's join as a member or I don't know, there's something. I should know this.
You did it.
Because I did it. Well, I had to click through a couple times and I'm like, how do I do this? And I clicked it. I'm like, oh, I'm a member. Easy. Done. So it wasn't, once you do it, you're kind of like, oh, that was easy.
Right.
But to explain to someone else, it's really hard.
Apparently.
On the channel, there's a membership tab.
There's a membership tab on the channel. There you go.
Okay. Thank you, super producer Jason. He does all
It is a
the
YouTube
things.
thing, CJ. It's a member on YouTube, which is what we are currently on.
In case you didn't know. So again, thank you, Kristian, for becoming a member. Do appreciate that. There are other ways you can support the show. We'll get those out of the way real quick here. You can use the super chat function. When you use the super chat function, you put something in there. We'll go ahead and read it out live on the show. You can also do that with Venmo at the Fin Factor. If we see that during the show, we'll go ahead and we'll call it out. We'll also hit the bell if you like. And then if you can go to thefinfactor.com, check out any of the merch that we have for sale. This is another great way to support the show. You can get these hats. I know some people were interested in these hats, amongst other things that are there. So I do appreciate it. The last thing, of course, if you can share us out there. You guys got here probably by seeing a post of some sort on one of your favorite socials. If you can share us or retweet us or repost us or anything us, get us out to your Sharks friends and family. Get them in the chat here today because it's a lot more fun when we have more people kicking ideas around. It is going to be a little bit of a lighter show today. Super producer Jason, very happy about that. No, there it is, Vinny Darnay. We always say that, and it always fails.
At least an hour.
I feel like every time I say it, I jinx it, though, right?
Yeah, and you said it like 10 times. So
I know.
We're really,
okay.
Beat off walls.
really jinxed it today.
It's like when Randy says the shootout. Like, oh, I hope you're not the shootout. Sorry, shutout. He's calling shutouts.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? Gonna lie.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
A lot last month.
We started 15 minutes later than usual, okay? So I'm just that much more.
Already off the rails.
Off the rails. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump right in here. Sharks, Vancouver, a 2-1 overtime loss, Aaron. They lose in the skills competition. No, not really skills competition.
No, this is overtime.
Yeah. I know you call the shootout the skills competition,
Yes.
but realistically, again, it's not real hockey, as many people would say. It's 3-on-3, right?
It's more real than the shootout.
Okay, that's fair.
Because it's 3-on-3.
Yes.
And technically, in a game, you could go 3-on-3.
You could, yeah.
So it's doable.
Okay.
It's passable hockey. It's fine with me.
So
I
you're
actually
okay
like
with
it.
that then?
I like the 3-on-3 hockey. It's becoming a little bit of a slogfest because they kind of keep possession now and they'll even take it out of the zone, get changes. That kind of bugs me. I like it when it's going end to end and it's almost breakaway after breakaway, great save after great save, and just it's more exciting, I think, when it's like that. When they're possessed, it's annoying, usually because the Sharks are usually not the team possessing, so it bugs me. But so this is a game where Sharks once again have the lead going into the third period, and we all know what happens. Vancouver comes back, ties it up, and then it goes overtime and they lose. Now, if they won in overtime, it would have been a better feel-good story. Had they won in the shootout, I guess, whatever. They get an extra point. It doesn't matter. At this point, they could have won out all of their games.
Yes.
And it wouldn't have mattered in the standings, so it wasn't a big deal for the Sharks to win or lose. I mean, same with Vancouver because they were already eliminated from the playoffs, so it wasn't a big deal. But for them, it was a home game, so it was good for them to win in front of their fans, which is what I was hoping they would do against Edmonton. But going back to having the lead in the third period, we do have a post from Darren Stevens on Blue Sky. And this will be the last one for the season here.
Oh, thank God.
Sharks have lost 13 games this season after leading through 2 periods, 8 in regulation, 5 in overtime or the shootout, which is tied for the most total such losses since the stat was first tracked in 1970-71. The 05-06 Blues also had 8 regulation losses and 5 in OT and shootout. So not a good list to be on. But going back to what I've been saying for weeks now, this is where we're going to see the gains next season. They're not going to be that bad next season. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm still holding out. I'm not going to put any predictions out quite yet because I don't know what our roster is going to look like. It's going to be drastically different. And we'll get into that a little bit.
But you can at least say that you believe the roster to be better next season. Because we have to spend a lot of money. You're going to bring in some talent.
Yes. I don't think it's going to be playoff team. I think they could potentially be a bubble playoff team, but they're not going to be a cup contender overnight this summer. Look what Nashville did. Nashville added 3 really talented, high-paid people. Stamkos, I always forget who it was. Stamkos, Marchessault, and the defenseman, I think he used to be on the Rangers.
Whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, not going to work here anymore. So they were in 4th to last, I think. Almost the top 3. Yeah. So that's what Greer does not want to do. So he also doesn't want to give out term. We'll get into that a little bit later. But anyway, yes, I do think that they will improve. Now, taking those games, and I already forgot what it was. It was it 8 losses in regulation and 5 in overtime. So 13 games. Let's say 10 of those are winnable, right? Next year they shut down and win 10 of those. That's 20 points in the standings. That's a big difference. Now, there was another stat that they had where they lost in so many close games, and I think the number was up to like 32. Take half of those, 15 games, and you're winning those, right? That's 30 points. That's 50 points in the standings. Now, I don't think there's going to be 50 points. I'm just saying not even converting all of those to wins is a big jump in the standings. Yeah. And I think they're going to be able to do a big chunk of those next year. So we already saw last year they were getting destroyed by everybody. Yeah. This year they're either really close games. Next year they're going to be closing out those games. Not all of them, but they're going to be starting to learn how to win and close out those games. In fact, Celebrini in the locker cleanout today was saying we need to learn how to close out these games. Yeah. And that's what they're going to be focused on all year. Going into next year, I guess.
Yeah. So obviously they don't get it done here in the Vancouver game. But again, I was hopeful like you were with the Edmonton game, thinking that they would come and show up for their fans on the last home game, the last game of the season, period. But that did not happen. They didn't even put one in the net on this one. 3-0 loss to the Edmonton Oilers. Draisaitl was not in this game.
It was a 2-0.
Well,
because there was an empty netter.
Sure.
So it was 3-0 sounds worse.
It does.
I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. They lost 3-0. But it was another empty netter because it was another close game.
But they were already 2 goals out, so that doesn't really count for the stat. So
right. They're off by 1. But yeah, I get it. Still, it's just how many empty netters do they have? So many this year.
Yeah. No, it's been ridiculous. And again, contributing to that minus 31, 32, whatever the stat is for Macklin Celebrini. He's always on the ice at the end of the game when they need a goal, right? And when they pull the goalie, he's on the ice all the time. So you take a look at that plus-minus stat, and a lot of people don't care for that stat. I get it. But when you look at that, a lot of that number comes from empty net goals while he's out there because Coach trusts the 18-year-old rookie to be out there to generate offense, and that's what he does. So, moving on from that one, I guess, anything else on the Edmonton game? I know you wanted to talk about Georgiev just a little bit here.
Georgiev, I think Shang had talked to him,
Yeah.
and he said that the management is going to be moving on, and he will not be on the team next year, which there hasn't really been an official announcement, but coming from Georgiev himself, it's pretty much the official announcement. So we know for sure Georgiev will not be getting extended or signed because he is an upcoming UFA, and the Sharks do need a backup goaltender for Askarov next year, but looks like Georgiev did not win the role.
I gotta tell you, I think Romanov might have turned some heads a little bit here inside the organization.
He might not be signed either because he's an RFA, and they might be letting him go as well.
I think that would be a mistake, personally. He's RFA, you've got his rights, and he actually played well. I thought he played well.
It was a very small sample size.
Yeah.
And I think you need a veteran backup for that role for Askarov.
Maybe, yeah.
Rolling 2 rookie goaltenders, I don't think is very smart.
Maybe, but I think if Romanov has a 2-way contract, just a 1-year 2-way, let him play some games at the AHL level, see how he does in terms of the development for that season. Call him up and see if he does work out well as a backup. Look, you got Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith, best of buddies, the 2 forwards, and that's helped them out, right? They have Tyler Toffoli there as kind of, Uncle Tyler or older brother Tyler there, right? Tyler. Maybe having the 2 young goaltenders isn't such a bad thing. Maybe they develop a little bit of a friendship, a friendly rivalry, pushing each other and growing with each other. It's somebody that they can relate to. Romanov, Askarov, I think there's some commonality there too.
Right.
So,
yeah, I don't disagree. I just don't think Romanov is he's not suited for a backup role, especially for Askarov next season. I wouldn't mind if they signed him and he was at the Barracuda.
Yeah.
But he's also getting a little kind of old for that, and I feel like I wouldn't say it's out of the question, but I don't think there's that many free agents that Greer's going to go after. I think he's going to be making a trade with the team in the offseason for a goalie. That's where I think.
Okay.
So I think he's going to be getting a much more established veteran coming in and being the backup / 1A, 1B situation in case Askarov gets hurt or stumbles or whatever. You're going to have somebody that's reliable you're not going to fall from the standings or relying on a rookie that you have no idea if it's going to pay off or not. So that's where I think they're going to be moving.
Okay. All right, moving on from Edmonton game entirely, I guess. Anything else you want to say here, or are you good?
No, Romanov, Georgiev finished with a .926 save percentage in that game. A pretty good game. Yeah. I'm not defending him. No. I wouldn't want him back, really.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. I was kind of mediocre on it. I'm curious to see what he's going to do, what Greer's going to do in the offseason.
It's tough because you know what he was earlier in his career, right? And yes, you can point to the fact that it was with Colorado, and that certainly does help out. Again, I've said it many times in seasons past, goalie stats are largely team stats because the team in front of you is playing great. You're not seeing that many shots. You're seeing low-quality shots. You're going to make more saves, right? If they're possessing the puck more often, you're not seeing that many shots on goal, your goals against is probably going to be a little bit lower than if you were to see a whole ton of shots. So there are times where you can make that argument. Here, he's got games like this where he gets a .926 save percentage and he looks fantastic. But then he has other games where he earns his name. Forgiev, right? So it's just the inconsistency, I think. And yes, that ebbs and flows with the team. But when you're talking about having a goaltender that's kind of like your rock, somebody who is just steady back there, and not every game you're going to let in only 1 or 2. You're going to have some stinkers, but I think it was just too much inconsistency with him. And that's
beat off walls.
Beat off walls for some reason. Okay, anyway. All right, good. We're done with that one. We are at the final time that we're going to be having this segment for at least this season. Who knows? Maybe next season we'll revitalize it with another young rookie. But for this season is the final version of
Calder Watch 2025. So dramatic. Calder Watch. This is the last one. Stats are final as of tonight because Matvei Michkov did play tonight. So Lane Hutson was done and Macklin Celebrini was done. So here we go. In first place, we end the season with Defense Boy out of Montreal. Lane, I don't like to score goals. Hutson, 6 goals, 60 assists for 66 points in 82 games. He played all 82 games. That's quite a
impressive
feat for a defenseman too. -2. 0 face-off wins. I can't believe this guy just can't win a face-off to save his life. But it is what it is. He does finish the season with 22:44 ice time. That's impressive. He had 91 shots on goal.
Sorry, 91 shots.
It's like
60 assists.
Right.
So he's not. I mean, come on, man. Like that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Also, more assists than not were secondary assists.
Yes, exactly.
So
shoot the puck, Lane. What are you doing?
Just absolutely freaking embarrassing.
100% it is embarrassing. Shoot the puck. So you're averaging barely over 1 shot per game.
My fantasy hockey league, Devereaux's in with me. That it's our 19th season this year. We just wrapped it up.
Okay.
There's a new guy in our league, and he's a Montreal fan.
Okay.
And he was,
of course,
talking about how great Lane Hutson is.
Of course.
And so I texted, the goalies fear Lane Hutson when he's coming down with the puck because his 91 shots and 6 goals just instill so much fear. 6.6 shooting percentage on 91 shots. For those of you who are wondering why we're laughing, that's not good. It's not good. Moving on.
I want you to real quick. I want you to imagine you're the goaltender, okay? And I'll look at the camera for this, okay? You're the goaltender, right? And you got Lane Hutson coming on this side, so you're over here and you're ready to go, right? But then you realize it's Lane Hutson, and you see you got another player over here. Just do this, because he ain't shooting it first of all, and apparently he ain't gonna hit it, but more than 6% of the time anyway. So you may as well just play the pass. Forget about the shot from Lane Hutson. It ain't coming.
I don't want to dump on the guy because what he's done is amazing as a rookie defenseman.
It is,
but this is just calling for regression next year because there's so many secondary assists. If you take away half of those secondary assists next year, and let's say there's no, like there's just doesn't turn into primary, it's just none. I mean, that's probably like a 20-point swing. So now he's a 40-point defenseman. Right. So it's not reliable when you score more secondary assists than when you don't. So anyway, moving on back to Calder Watch. Number 2 on this list.
Forgot we were doing that.
After tonight, unfortunately. Oh, you're on the wrong one. I guess, all right. We'll do Macklin Celebrini. Macklin Celebrini, 70 games, 25 goals, 38 assists for 63 points in a beautiful -31. He ends his faceoff percentage at 48.2. Amazing for a rookie.
Yeah.
Not just a rookie. An 18-year-old rookie.
Yeah.
That's insane that an 18-year-old is putting up those kinds of face-off numbers or percentages. 0.9 points per game. I forgot to mention Lane Hutson was a 0.8. Mm-hmm. Celebrini's a 0.9. Had he played those 12 games and he missed, that is an extra 10 to 11 points padded onto his stats.
Right.
So he would have ended over 70 points.
Not only that, but remember we talked last episode about Noah Gregor and his 9 goals and it not being a nice round 10, right? The 19 goal club I talked about, not having a nice round 20. Mm-hmm. That would have put him right at that 29, maybe 30 goals. For a rookie, an 18-year-old rookie, to have the same amount of goals as Tyler Toffoli would have been bonkers to me, right?
Absolutely.
And again, the only reason he didn't is because he missed 12 games due to injury. Again, for me, just an amazing campaign for him. We haven't seen a rookie come into an organization like this in a long time. Super excited for him.
We've never seen a rookie like this for the Sharks, ever. He shattered the records of rookies. All right, moving on to third place. In a tie in points is, out of Philadelphia, Matvei Michkov. 80 games played, 26 goals, so he outscored him by 1. 37 assists. He under-assisted by 1 for 63 points. -18. A lot of power play points here. 17 power play points of his 63. I guess Celebrini had 22, so that's a big chunk. Hutson had 26. Both Celebrini and Michkov ended with 8 power play goals. He ended up with a .79 points per game, so a little bit under both Hutson and Celebrini. Not a graphic, but in 4th place in sole possession, Will Smith.
Yep.
Will Smith, he ended up with 74 games. He had 18 goals, 27 assists for 45 points. A fantastic rookie year, 0.61 points per game. And right behind him,
Cutter Gauthier, who gets to the 20 goal club.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. He's one of 3 rookies to get over 20 goals.
It's fantastic.
So he's
Really
going to have
is.
a good career.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the Sharks, because he is in Anaheim, so that's a divisional rival.
He'll get upset with Anaheim and request a trade. Don't worry. It'll be
The
fine.
Anaheim Ducks have a very... The Anaheim Ducks are what the Sharks are going to be in about
Yeah.
1 or 2... They're about 1 or 2 seasons ahead of when they started their rebuild when the Sharks did. So they're...
We're going to leapfrog right past them next season.
The Sharks also have a number of staff that were on Anaheim's staff that moved over in the last year or two with Mike Greer when he came in. So they kind of set the foundation down in Anaheim, moved to San Jose, and are doing the same thing. So they're doing great work, and we're seeing it. I mean, look how many prospects have been hitting and doing well for the Sharks.
Yeah.
Anaheim's kind of in the same boat here. So one thing that we were looking at before, and we're going to call out here, is we were wondering, spitballing, if Celebrini had played those 12 games, and if he kept his 0.9 points per game, whatever, what's it called?
The rate. His points
His
per
rate,
game.
thank
Yeah.
you. It would have been about 10 to 11 points, and that would have given him about 73, 74 points. So we were like, okay, points per game, let's rank him since the lockout of 03-04. So this is when Crosby, Ovechkin, all those guys came in. Where does he rank in points per game for a rookie?
Right.
He is 10th. 10th overall. This is, I'll read these in order. Ovechkin, Crosby, Malkin, McDavid, Barzal. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
Barzal.
Yeah. Matthew Barzal. Barzal, I guess. But yeah.
Panarin, Stastny, Pedersen, Kaprizov, and then Celebrini and Bedard, both 0.9, just ahead of Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
So these are some good company that he's in. Where is...
I mean, the top 10 rookie since the lockout.
Right.
And the list of names that you just called out.
And how many of those were actually 18?
Yeah.
McDavid, Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't even think Crosby and Ovechkin were because... Or Crosby was, but I don't think Ovechkin was.
No, I don't think so.
Because he was a rookie... He would have been a rookie the lockout year.
Right.
So I think he was a little bit older. So, yeah, the Sharks have not just hit on... I mean, it was a first overall pick. Obviously, you can't screw it up, right? But this guy, I think, is way better than I think a lot of people thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, 63 points as a rookie as an 18-year-old. That's going to be your floor.
Yeah.
Most players, especially forwards, their rookie season is one of their worst seasons. They're only going to get better. And their last season is going to be like, oh, man, he hasn't had a bad season like this since his rookie year.
Right.
63 points is pretty darn good for a rookie. So, very exciting things. Plus, he is 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, he is a lot younger than Hutson, who's 21. Michkov, who's 20. Will Smith is now 20.
Yeah.
So, he's got a good year and a half in between there. 2 years between those guys. And 3 in some cases.
Yeah.
So, he's going to be around a long time. Anything else you want to add for this?
I guess we'll go into the next set of things. Everything I hear between Celebrini and Hutson, people trying to say which one's better and whoever else, right? Everything I hear about Hutson is, he's got more assists than any defenseman since Brian Leach, any rookie defenseman since Brian Leach back in, what was it, 87?
87, 88
87, 88 season. Okay. So that's the whole thing with him is he's got more points than any rookie defenseman since Brian Leach in 87. And my whole thing looking at this is, cool, who's the better rookie? I don't care about history. I care about who's the better rookie, right? All that means is there's not been a lot of good offensive defensemen as rookie defensemen, right? That's what that means. And good on him for being one of those guys. But who's the better rookie, right? That's what I want to know. I don't care about the history of it. But anyway, fire away with this now.
I will say, Cale Makar
Yeah.
had a better points per game, but he played much less games.
Yeah.
He only had 57 games his rookie year because he kind of came in through it. Lane Hutson has... he did play a couple games last season. So he had a couple last season. But So Brian Leetch had 85 points, but he had 60 assists with 25 goals.
Right.
Very different than Lane Hutson.
You cannot compare Lane Hutson to Brian Leetch.
The easiest way for me to explain why I think Celebrini deserves the Calder over Hutson, even though he didn't score as many points, the points per game for one.
Yes.
And two, if you switch those two players, you put Celebrini on Montreal and you put Hutson on the Sharks, what do their numbers look like?
Yeah.
Are Hudson's better or worse? Are Celebrini's better or worse?
Much better. Yeah.
To me, that's my case. I mean, we are obviously biased.
100%. No, I get
Coast.
it. I get that we're biased, but like, just look at it logically, I think, right?
Yeah.
The other argument I hear is, well, Macklin's like, a top line player and he's entrusted with all these minutes, so he has all this opportunity to score this many goals. You're missing the point. He's 18 years old with the pressure of San Jose on his shoulders, and he's still performing. That's my whole thing with him generating the amount of points that he is, right? It's impressive that they're giving him this many minutes and he's performing. Now, Lane Hutson has even more minutes because he's a defenseman, right? I don't want to take anything away from that. He is playing a ton of minutes. That's fantastic for him. But when you try to compare him to Brian Leetch because he has as many assists, well, you're cherry-picking stats. That's the one thing he has more than him is assists. He didn't even sniff the amount of goals that Brian Leetch had. You cannot compare the two. The reason why Brian Leetch doesn't have as many assists as Lane Hutson does now is because he's too busy putting the puck in the net. Are you kidding?
He didn't miss, that's why.
Was that? Yeah, no, he didn't miss. What was his shot percentage?
It was only 8.1.
That's still 1.5
2,
better.
yeah.
Almost 2 better, right? But, I mean, still, whatever. Again, you can't really compare the two. Brian Leetch was putting pucks in the net.
308 shots versus 94 shots.
Yeah. They're two completely different players. Of course, Lane Hutson is going to have more assists heavy than his goal scoring numbers are going to be because the kid doesn't shoot the puck and the kid's looking for anybody else to hand the puck off to. And his secondary assist numbers are that much higher. We said last episode that even Macklin had, I think, 20 and 18 was the split on his secondary assists to primary assists. Yeah, it's still over the 50%, but we're talking by that much. If one of those flips, now it's 19-19, it's exactly 50%. Lane Hutson's, almost, what was it, like 8, I think, the difference between the two? I mean, it's heavier on that end. So, I don't know. I look at this and I go, how can you possibly think to compare him to Brian Leetch other than just to say, oh, he's got more assists than him, and, since the 87 season or whatever it is. That's the only stat you can pick out that compares the two. Other than that, Brian Leetch was, by the numbers, far superior to Lane Hutson.
So Hutson finished with 60 assists. It was a 25-35 split of primary versus secondary. So he had 10 more secondary than primary. Mac and Celebrini ended with 38 assists, and his were 18-20.
18-20, right. So, 2 more versus 10 more.
Right.
And I'd love to see how many of those secondary assists were also on the power play. I don't think you can find that here, and it's taking too long to figure out anyway. But he's got a lot more on the power play, I think, assists, and he's got a lot more secondary assists. So
who has the better haircut?
The better haircut?
Celebrini. Kellen wants to know.
I don't know, man. They're usually wearing their buckets. I can't really tell. So
I think they're the same haircut.
Does it really? Yeah,
don't
probably.
even know.
Who knows? Whatever. Anyway, we've kind of gone. Obviously, again, Shark Show. We're going to be biased about it, but again, just looking at the numbers, to me, it's pretty clear. The face-off percentage alone is bonkers. Forget Lane Hutson. Forget Lane Hutson. I'm just saying, for a rookie, an 18-year-old, who's, by the way, still 18. He didn't come into the league at 18 and then turn 19.
Right.
He came into the league right after his 18th birthday. And for him to play the entire season as an 18-year-old, to be able to do what he's been doing, right?
Yep.
And again, that is like that is in line with the whole like history thing. Like, who cares if he's 18? Is he the best rookie? And I still just take a look at the numbers and go, yeah, I think he is. I think if you have the opportunity to take a guy who's got that face-off percentage, who shoots the puck that much, despite the -31, if you actually take a look and realize that the majority of that is because of empty net goals, right? That he is very good defensively. He generates offense. There's nothing that this guy doesn't do, and there's nothing that he doesn't do well. We don't have the stats anymore in front of us. We had them earlier in the season. I don't even know where you get them from. It was just somebody off of, it was probably Darren Stevens, who was talking about, stealing the puck. He was leading the league, not amongst rookies. He was leading the league in stealing the puck, coming, breaking in the zone across the blue line, carries across the blue line, I should say. I mean, these are things that an 18-year-old should not be doing in the league. An 18-year-old should be learning how to do this stuff in the league. You know what's funny? Is a lot of times we talk about player development. I don't think Macklin's developed at all this season.
He's just been consistent.
He's just that good.
I think he improved.
Maybe he's improved. I don't know where. He's had a fantastic face-off percentage the entire time.
You know what
Since
he
the
did talk
beginning
about?
of the season, he's been leading in those other categories. I don't know where he's improved.
In his locker cleanout, he said what he still wants to improve on is his giveaways. He
Yes.
gives the puck away too much. He said he's trying to make too many plays instead of making the higher percentage play and the better one that would result in a turnover. That's what he wants to work on.
And I will agree, because there are times later on in the season you could see maybe where he was maybe the games were wearing on him a little bit. He was making some of these, I'll call them Will Smith passes, were the ones where Will Smith gets rushed and is just throwing the puck. Macklin was doing some of that, but not so much when he was being rushed. It was just, I think I can make a really good play here, and just ripping it, and it's like, dude, just make the simple play instead, So there are times where, yes, he was doing that 100%. However, earlier in the season when he wasn't doing that, again, he was doing the right thing. So I'm not sure, he might have devolved a little bit, and he's just going to come back to where he was.
Right.
And as he builds more seasons of experience, those types of things won't happen throughout the whole season, right? But honestly, the kid is just that good that I don't think he's really grown that much in any one area. He's just been consistently stellar throughout all the games that he's played.
What do you think if he plays all 82 games next season?
Yeah.
How many points do you think he gets next season?
It's not out of the realm of possibility to say, forget 0.9, he's at least a point per game.
I was going to say 75 to 80.
Yeah.
Maybe pleasantly surprised if it's more. It also depends who he's surrounded with.
He's got to be looking at the 30-goal club. He has to be looking at the 30-goal club, because even this season he hit 25. You add in those games that he didn't make because of injury, and he's right there at 30 goals. Add that to the fact that he's probably going to be playing with somebody that he's already been playing with. He's not going to get a new line mate, right? You're looking at Tyler Toffoli. You're looking at an Eklund, who I love the two of them together. I love Macklin and Eklund together. Or if they don't move Will Smith to center next season, he's probably playing alongside Will Smith. There's a lot of chemistry there, right, that they've already built. And if Will Smith can learn to be a little bit more independent when he has the puck, being able to protect it a little bit more, being able to skate through checks, being able to get his head up and make that pass under pressure. If he does those things, if Will Smith improves and develops a little bit more for next season, absolutely, they're both going to have explosions in the point category. And yes, I think Macklin Celebrini absolutely hits 30 goals and at least a point per game for next season.
So 30 goals, 50 assists.
I think so. I think he's in that realm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. All right, moving on.
I guess. Why not?
Roll call.
Roll call? All right,
Let's
let's
do
do
our
it. Yeah,
roll
roll call question. What do you got?
Roll call. Tell us what city you're watching us from, and were you holding out hope that Logan Couture was going to come back and play? Logan Couture this week announced not his retirement.
His not retirement, yeah.
Is his not able to play hockey anymore. So he's not
Well, Shane,
retiring.
if I knew that answer, then I wouldn't have. We would have started off better.
Well done.
And there is a difference because now he goes on long-term IR and he still gets paid his salary for another 2 years, but that salary cap comes off the books, assuming they put him on long-term IR. Yeah. They don't have to either. They could put him on IR and keep his salary for the floor.
If they needed it to, yeah.
Right. So they have some flexibility there.
Yeah.
$7 million, which is a big chunk. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if they did do that. Keep him on just regular IR to keep the salary hit, to keep them closer to the floor.
But the thing is, they could always change that during the season. They can go from IR and then put him on long-term IR to get the money off the books if they're going to be doing some shenanigans at the trade deadline to absorb a bigger contract or something like that. That would have gone over cap if his amount counted toward the cap. Put him on long-term IR, you get $7 million back, and then you add another guy, right? So they can do some funny business like that. It's a real Lou Lamoriello stuff there, isn't it?
It is.
So I guess back to the question, and I think I know the answer to this one, but were you holding out hope that he might be able to return?
The fact that he hadn't skated since he last played, I think it was January of 2024, I did not think he was going to come back. The fact that they went into training camp, he still wasn't there. He wasn't really around the team. But Greer and Warsawski, I guess, were kind of sidestepping it, saying, he's our captain. Because you remember during the season, there was a long time, a lot of people were saying, where's our captain? Where's our captain?
Yeah.
This team is rudderless because they don't have a captain.
Not true.
It's not going to make a difference if Couture was there playing. I mean, if he was playing, it would make a difference because he's a good player. But
the outcome of the game, there would have been a difference. Right? But in terms of the leadership and whatnot, you can still lead, off of the ice. And I think that's what he was trying to do.
I mean, my point is, he could have been playing without the C, and obviously he would have helped the team because he's a good player. But him not being in the locker room giving those rah-rah speeches, that's not going to make a difference. So that's more Hollywood stuff. That's not real life stuff.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of leaders. They have a bunch of alternate captains. Now the question is going to be, who's going to be the next captain?
No, it's not a question. Yeah. That's not a question.
But obviously they're not going to announce it now, but going into the training camp next season, that's probably going to be the number one question, I think. Who is the captain?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the captain? Why isn't it Celebrini? Why aren't you naming it now? Why aren't you just getting it over with? So
see, and here's the thing I want to say about captaincies, right? It's not just the best player on the team. Right? You don't just say, oh, he's our best player, he's our captain, right? And a lot of people said that, I didn't agree with this one either. A lot of people said Hertl should be the captain when he was playing for the Sharks. And I didn't agree with that. I don't think Hertl is a captain type of guy, right? Now he's a little bit longer in the tooth. He can, wearing the A or whatever like that, mentoring some of the younger guys. Then there's a role there now, right? But in terms of captain, it's not just your best player and he should wear the C, right? In the case of Macklin Celebrini, he happens to be your best player, or at least will be, with the most potential. But he's also this incredibly hard worker. You talk about his dad instilling these values in him, working with the Golden State Warriors, and seeing him put in the work in the off season, putting in the work on the bench with the iPad, right? He's looking at every single time he takes a shift, he pulls that iPad back out, and he's looking at it meticulously. Forget the fact that the kid is 18 years old, okay? Forget that. These are the types of things that you want from your leadership core. You want them to be meticulous about it. You want them to obsess over the details. You want them to be gym rats, right? Rink rats, yes, but also gym rats.
Right.
Guys that are going to go in there, work on their conditioning. Kobe Bryant was always known for something like that too.
Jordan too.
Yes, where they would go, hey, we're all at the club and we see Kobe leaving at 2 a.m. Go, Kobe, where are you going? I'm hitting the gym, right? And it's that dedication to just being the best that you can possibly be. And I really do feel like Macklin Celebrini is that. And that, again, forget that he's 18. That is what you want out of your captain. So when I say Macklin Celebrini is going to be the next captain, it's not because, he's our best player or he's got the most hype behind him right now. No, it's because he embodies all of those attributes that you want from a captain. So yes, there is no question in my mind, Celebrini will be the next captain. It's just a matter of, do they do it next season? Because there's a lot on his shoulders if you do.
I don't think they do it next season.
Okay.
I think they do another year of alternate captains, multiple alternate captains. And then maybe towards the end of next year, I don't know. If they're going to the playoffs, maybe they'll do it. But I just think they'll do one more year, give him one more year of a break of not being the captain and being the spokesman and then doing it. But I also at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they do just name him captain. But if they do, let's say they do at the beginning of the season, he will be the youngest captain ever in the NHL. Yeah. Like in NHL history. Nobody's been named captain at that age. McDavid was the youngest, and I want to say he was 19 and 300 days. We looked this up a couple weeks ago. He will be like 19 and he's born in June. Days. Yeah. Right, yeah. Like it'll be 3 months, so 90 days. So he will be the youngest in history. I don't know if they want to put that on his shoulders. Maybe after this year, definitely didn't want to do it this season. This season would have been too much for him to deal with. Dealing with the media, dealing with, answering all those questions, those hard questions and everything of a team when you're 18 years old, a young 18-year-old. So
I wonder how much he cares. I wonder if he's like, yeah, I should be the captain. Bring it on. I can handle this, guys. I wonder if that, because I don't know what his attitude is like, so who knows. But the roll call question was about Logan Couture. We started talking about captaincies and whatnot. It was related because we're talking about captains.
Yes.
But I think it goes without saying, I did not think that Logan Couture was going to come back. I didn't think Logan Couture was going to come back even last season, the beginning of the season. I remember saying, he's done. I just don't see it happening. And even if he felt better, trying to come back after being away from the game for that long, there's just, so much in terms of, the body getting it ready to play, the speed of the game. You haven't, had the camaraderie with the group on the ice. You haven't been with the coaching staff, working with them on the ice. Mm-hmm. It would take so long to him to get back into, working order, let alone just shape. Right. And there he is right there, Captain Couture.
Sucks, man. He's 67 games away from hitting 1,000. Talking about round
numbers. One
right?
season, yeah.
But he ends his career with 933 games, 323 goals, 378 assists for 701 points. So
I do like that he broke,
points.
The 700-point plateau, yeah.
He actually he got to 700 2 seasons ago. His last point of 23 season got him to 700 because he only had 1 point last season.
Yeah.
Playoffs though,
I can't end on 700. Play 6 more games, I get my point. 701.
Playoffs, a completely different story. This guy was a beast. In the playoffs. This was Captain Clutch.
Yeah.
Going to the 15-16 season when they went all the way to the finals. 10 goals, 20 assists for 30 points in 24 playoff games.
Yeah.
That's absurd. He does not put up numbers like that in the regular season. He was not a point-per-game player. In fact, I don't think he ever was. Over his career high was 70 points in a season. 81 games, he had 70 points. So not a guy that was like Joe Thornton leading the league in something and winning Hart trophies. Yeah. But coming to playoff time, this guy stepped it up a notch. Yeah. And I'd rather have a guy like that.
No, for
a
sure.
70-point player in the regular season, which is good, and then go to the into the postseason, and he's getting you 40 points in 30 games. That's insane.
No, for sure.
So he just Captain Clutch, 101 points in 116 playoff games.
You look at those 31 power play goals that he's got there, and you just can't help but remember 2 of them specifically.
And he called that out during his speech.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
For those of you unaware, living under a rock, the Vegas games, the comeback.
Yes,
that was so amazing. I still watch that.
You were there.
Oh my god! I was there.
I was in the studio
with Joe.
Yeah, and we were live.
Super key grip Joe.
Yes.
Yeah. And you guys were chatting it up. I remember coming into the studio.
You couldn't even talk.
My voice was so hoarse. I was screaming like crazy that night. And it's just one of those things that I'll never forget. And seeing Logan Couture doing his kind of awkward, I think at the time, where he was doing this, like he just didn't know how to express himself. He was just like beside himself after scoring that goal. So that's what he did. He just did the whole like, whatever, skating towards the bench. Yeah, just amazing. He's got so many of these moments, not quite like that, obviously, but he's got so many of these playoff moments that are, again, just an absolute legend in the playoffs. And again, a type of player, like you said, that you would want on your team if you were going to make playoffs. So obviously the Sharks are going to be coming back into that in the next couple seasons. It's just a shame that he had to end the career the way that he did, and not on his terms, and not going out, being able to have a chance to put his name on the cup one last time.
Yes. Now he's going to be, eventually I think he'll join the staff.
Yes.
To maybe get a ring once the Sharks finally win, along with Thornton and Marlowe, Nabokov. Who else am I missing?
If he's not a part of the staff, and it looks like they're gonna go all the way,
I think he's gonna
do
join.
they hire him? I do.
Consultant.
Yeah,
Let's
consultant.
Sholl and Sunseri.
Yeah. You're gonna be alternate captain of vibes with Jumbo.
There you go. I like that. Very good. Okay.
Fifth string backup.
What else are the folks saying here in the chat about Logan Couture? Because it was a roll call question. We'd like to see what people have to say.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't think he was going to be coming back. Yeah. Dan Moore in Sacramento says, I think it was clear by November that he wasn't coming back. And also, did you see the respect the Oilers gave him?
I did see that. That was awesome.
Cool.
And I do really appreciate that the rat, Corey Perry, was at the end of the line there, gave him a little extra pat on the back, a little extra something to say there. And for as much as you hate the guy, when you play against him, it's things like that that help you remember, that's right, they're all human after all, So good on Corey Perry. I never liked him. I never liked his game. I always hated the guy.
He was so good.
He's one of those guys you hate seeing him play your team.
That's
just
kind
an
of player,
agitator,
It's the player the Sharks have never had and need. Maybe Owen Nolan was the last one that was that, right? Just other fans hated Owen Nolan because he was just so good. But you'd also get in your face and drop the gloves, and that's kind of
like the Sharks have had a lot of those guys, like the Corey Perrys and the Theo Fleury's, those types of guys. You just, I hate playing those guys.
Yeah,
just little bugs.
Yeah,
squash them. Anyway, good on you, Corey Perry. If you're watching the show, you're not. But that was a class act there by a guy that I hate. So there you go.
Noah Claxton. I was watching the live stream during the Game 7.
Yeah, I read that.
Aaron and Joe's reactions were gold, and then Paul came in decked out with Sharks gear with his depleted voice. That's awesome that you were there. That's long-term fan there. That was our first season, I think.
Yeah, first season.
I was like, this is going to be great. We're doing this new show. And it's awesome. They're going to be going to the playoffs all the time.
I think we cursed it.
Oh, my God.
Went to the playoffs, and then after that, it was just downhill.
We just stunk.
stunk.
We stunk on the power play. We stunk on the penalty kill. We stunk 5-on-5. Our forward stunk. Our defenseman stunk. We just stunk.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Anyway, anything else about the roll call stuff here, Logan Couture?
Colin just said, I like that his teammates didn't leave when the media asked Couture and Greer questions during the press conference. Did you see that? Couture got up and he told
if you guguys want to leave, now's a good time.
Yeah, he was he's like, tell the players to leave, they can go. And they're all like, no, not leaving.
Yeah.
And he's like, fine, I tried. Can you imagine if you were the one player that goes, oh good, I'm out of here. Yeah, right. Come on.
Stands up, starts to walk, and looks back. Oh, no one's leaving. Just kidding. He agitated the fans as much as he did the players. Steve Ott was the same way for me. Ooh, Debbie, nice callback. Like that one.
Steve Ott, man.
Yeah.
That's a throwback, yeah. Yeah, I hated that guy too. That's when I really hated Dallas. Oh,
just reaction. Oh my God.
Yeah. Who was that? Goodrow? Oh, did you hear what Couture said after the game?
Yeah.
After that game, his dad, Goodrow's dad, came up to Couture and goes, "What was Goody doing out on the ice?" Man. Yeah,
that's brutal.
Brutal honesty, right?
You know what he was doing? He was winning the series. How about that? That's what he was doing out there.
At least he didn't lose it.
There you go.
Right? That's probably his dad. His dad saw him take the ice. He goes, "What are they doing? What are you doing? Get off the ice!"
I might be late, but I've been sad. Cried when he announced he can no longer play. Clutcher, EASHL named to NHL 20 days. Yes, absolutely, Zinksy. Yeah, I didn't get overly emotional, I guess, because I've for 2 years have been kind of mentally prepared for this, and I was just waiting for the announcement. But yeah, was that Goodrow? Yeah. And Noah Claxton, I think he's pulling up the episode right now, just clicking through it. Maybe we'll go home. I'll rewatch some of that because that was fantastic. I do remember telling everybody to gather around Uncle Paul, and I will tell you a story. I do remember saying that. Some gold in there, fantastic. Crotch cams, yes, the crotch cams. When the camera was about yay high, aimed up.
That was our first studio. First studio in the garage with the baubles everywhere.
Yeah.
And just jerseys and everything. That was fun. Those were the days.
It was good times, yeah. Hopefully we get back to the winning days. Not so much the crotch cams, but the winning days. Hopefully get back to that sooner than later. I'm optimistic. I'm very optimistic. Come next season again, I really do think that this team is going to be a bubble team. Mm-hmm. I know I've said that in for this season. I was saying they could be a bubble team. And again, we talked about those overtime losses or those, they're leading into the third and they can't close out. If you flip a lot of those, they are a bubble team this season. So I wasn't completely wrong. But I think next season, as you said, and bringing in some of the free agents that are hopefully going to want to come and be a part of this for the next 3-4 years. I do think that we're going to be right in that conversation starting next season.
Yep. Zinksy probably needed a hug over here.
Oh,
Watch my favorite player retire, and I still need that hug.
sorry, buddy.
Noah also said, sad that Couture is done. It feels like the end of an era. Vlasic is the last one.
Yeah.
That is the last kind of piece of, I guess, the Doug Wilson era, going back to the heyday.
Yeah, he's the last member of the team that went to the Cup final, I believe.
Yeah, because Gaudreau wasn't in the final. Right?
Yeah, I guess so.
There.
Yeah. So, yeah, just Vlasic. Yeah. Hug for Zinksy. Thank you, Nick, for giving the hug to Zinksy there. Appreciate that. I love our community, man.
Yeah.
We've got a good community. We've got a good group of people that show up consistently in the live chat here, and you guys
Got beat off walls.
You guys are beating off walls, apparently. No, but you guys do a great job of being kind to each other, and especially when we have other players, other fans of other teams. Thank you, that come in. You guys are usually pretty nice to them too, unless they're acting like turds, and then.
Well, we don't get any Montreal fans because they're all asleep right now.
They're afraid of the truth. That's the truth of it, Aaron. It's not that they're asleep. They're afraid to hear what we have to say about Lane Hutson. Lame Hutson. Anyway, okay. Moving on from this one, Aaron. What else you got?
Joke. Our fantasy hockey season is done. And the cup up there is going to get a new name. Actually, it's going to get the same name. Graham Montgomery, who you all know because he is on our show during our draft shows. So congratulations to Graham. Graham won the first year.
Yeah.
Then he went dead last the second year.
Right.
And he went first this year.
You got it.
So next year we'll see Graham at the bottom.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah.
He'll throw it.
He's going to trade all of his players away to get draft picks for the next year, high draft picks, and then wins it again. So we'll see. We'll see if he can pull it off.
Don't make a trade with him then.
Oh, I don't.
There you go.
I ended in 4th place because I was winning all week for the 3rd place game and lost 2 nights.
Yeah.
So I no longer won 3rd place. What's up?
Noah Claxton says, Paul, when we make a big splash signing or trade, can you make it rain money like you did when we traded for EK65? Yes.
Real money this time.
Yeah, lots of ones.
Wasn't it real money?
Just lots of quarters. I'll just be flicking quarters out of my...
Well, we'll have some big free agent signings this summer.
Yes, we will.
So maybe we'll make it rain.
I'm hopeful that we land some guys that will cause me to want to make it rain. So we will see.
What guys do you want to see them sign?
I don't even, I would
anybody?
need, I would need the list. I would need the list to see who's.
Would you like me to pull that up right now?
Yeah, if you want, real quick. Yeah, short show, of course. We're almost at an hour.
I have 2 guys that I want.
Okay, go ahead. Who do you want?
For me, I think it would be awesome if John Tavares was signed because he's older.
Okay.
And he would be next year second line center.
Okay.
Sign him, let's say, a 3 or 4 year deal. Next year, second line center.
Yeah.
Then he moves to third line center, and you have Will Smith or somebody, maybe this next draft pick, who knows, be that second line center. Then Tavares is that third line center, still dangerous third line, getting less minutes, but still there and as a team presence, a former captain, gives you lots of guidance, and he's 34, so he's not going to be there for an 8-year contract.
Right.
So he's only going to be there for 3-4 seasons. Then that's the transition period of getting someone else. And you have a backup leader, if you will. I'm not going to say the name of captain, but another leader, another voice, another person. The other one I want is Ekblad, right-hand shot defenseman that the Sharks, I feel like, are lacking right now. And he would be a fantastic ad. He just got busted for PEDs. So... he got suspended for he got suspended for 20 games at the end of the season, so I think that might get a discount next year for him to come to the Sharks, because a lot of teams might be like, I don't want to be a part of that. Yeah. But I think the Sharks will be like, give me all the steroids that you got, and let's go. I don't know if it's steroids.
I don't think they would say that. That's probably the last thing that they would say, but okay. Give me all the steroids you got. Really?
Our show does not reflect the...
I was gonna... Aaron's words are his own, people.
Read that disclaimer.
No, I know where you're going with John Tavares, and I do like that he is on the older end, and so therefore would not be wanting a longer term. And that's the only knock for me on Mitch Marner. Somebody had said earlier, Mitch Marner.
Yep.
And I would agree with Mitch Marner. I think age-wise, he fits the timeline a little bit better in terms of being there in the next 4 seasons and still being very productive. I think at 38, John Tavares probably not very productive or as productive as we'd like him to be. And if you're paying him $10 million, we have the cap space for now.
I don't see Mitch Marner fitting in the timeline here because how many guys are in the top 6 right now for the Sharks in the next 2 seasons?
I'd take Wenberg out of the top 6, though.
Sure.
I'd put Wenberg. When you have a really good team, Wenberg is an awesome 3 seed.
Celebrini, Smith, Eklund, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, I'll just say top 6, those 3. Then you have Musty coming. You have Chernyshov coming. Mm-hmm. And you have Toffoli still.
Yeah.
And is there one more that I'm thinking of or missing?
There is not one more that you're thinking of.
Okay. So that's where you think Marner would be.
That's where I think Marner
for
would...
8 years?
Not 8. That's the thing. That is the knock on Marner, is that he's young enough that he would want term.
He's 27.
Whereas John Tavares...
Yeah, he can't.
Can't ask for 8 years, or 7 years, actually. But yeah, he can ask for that, right? So that to me is kind of where I could see it going the other direction. I'd rather have Marner, but I'd rather have Marner at John Tavares' term that he's going to ask for.
But I think other teams are going to beat it, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the hardest part
yes.
for this coming offseason is Mike Grier getting these guys that are maybe in the age range that he wants them to be in, but only giving them contracts for the length that he's comfortable with. Because somebody else is just going to say, well, I'll just give you more years. And they're going to say, I'm comfortable with the more years. Now, Mike Grier can offer them more money, yes, to maybe entice them. Look, I'll pay you an extra $1 million if you take down to 4 years instead of being at 6 years or something like that, right? Like maybe he can go that route. He has the luxury of having that extra cap space. But that's something that we're going to have to see how that goes. And it depends on what they value, right?
Again, going back to market rate, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's going to cost to get him. A lot of people are going to be upset because they're going to say that's too much money for him. Right? So it's a lose-lose situation. I just don't think Marner's realistic. Another couple names in here. Besser. Out of Vancouver. And apparently, I don't know if you saw the post yesterday, someone took a picture of him as he was leaving the game in his car, and there's a team-signed jersey in his car. So everyone's like, that's it. He got the team to sign his jersey, and he's keeping it because he's done with the Vancouver Canucks. He's not coming back.
Wow.
That's what they pieced together. Jump to conclusions much. The other one is Dobson, which I also would love to see the Sharks go after. Now, he is an RFA out of the New York Islanders. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Grier make a trade maybe before the draft.
Sure.
Or maybe before the July 1st deadline so that they can get negotiating rights. Or maybe he does an offer sheet. Who knows? Probably not an offer sheet.
Yeah, I mean, historically, there haven't been a whole lot of offer sheets, right? So I don't think that that's a route that they'll end up going. But yeah, if you can just make the trade for the player, even if he's RFA or whatever, you know, that way you don't have to do the offer sheet and have to, cough up draft picks or whatever if they don't match it or whatever the case is. So I think if you could just offer them a package that makes sense to them, right? Do they even want to move on from him is another thing, right? Who knows? But yeah, absolutely. I think the needs right now, regardless of the names, the needs right now would be a right-handed shot defenseman. Fantastic. And then I think just more scoring punch. Chernyshov and Musty are fantastic, and I cannot wait for them to make it to the NHL. But I don't know that they're going to hit the NHL this coming season. Right. I feel like they're probably going to get some time in the AHL and then maybe go from there, right?
I think they get cups of coffee during the season.
Sure, yeah.
Up and down.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, you're going to need somebody else to play in those roles.
Yeah.
So, not to say that, an injury doesn't happen and they get called up and then they start playing there or whatever, fine. But it could also just be the case that you've got a really strong third line. Maybe you've got, like I said, if Wenberg gets pushed to the third line, that's still... He's only 28, I think, by the way. I thought he was a lot older. But if he's, your third line center and you flank him with a couple guys that are still offensively capable, then you can have a fourth line of just straight up penalty killers, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not really going to matter at all. You can just roll 3 offensive lines, and then when you need to bang some bodies, you throw the fourth line out there, no big deal. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Obviously, Mike Grier's going to take the reins this offseason. And, again, hopefully, this coming season we're looking like we're a playoff bubble team. Anyway.
Yep.
All right. Any last comments or anything else that are going on here? There's
There's a couple of names.
Yeah.
More Keandre Miller.
Yes.
If the Sharks would trade for Nemec or Brandt Clark out of LA.
I'm not familiar with Brandt Clark.
I don't think Brandt Clark is touchable out of LA. For one, it's a division rival. And two, he's pretty much the clear successor to Drew Doughty when Drew Doughty is gone. So I don't think they would. The price would not be cheap for that. And I don't
need
think
a king's ransom to get him. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
we can end it right now.
Absolutely.
Extremely disappointing.
There you go.
Downright embarrassing.
I thought I was getting the absolutely freaking embarrassing, but I'll take that one too.
That was much
Either way.
better.
Okay.
Much better.
Oh, I cannot lie. It was, a lot last, month. And
To me, I think Nemec would be more realistic than
Sure.
Brandt Clark. Keandre Miller that name always sticks with me because the Sharks picked.
Yeah.
I can't even think of his name. He's in the KHL now. Defenseman.
Yeah. Oh God, was it Ryan Merkley?
Yes.
Yes. There you go.
Ryan Merkley, one pick before Keandre Miller. It's just a terrible decision
Yeah.
by the old regime there.
Oh well.
So that makes me upset because
Hey,
the team would have been very different with Keandre Miller.
if we now here's the thing. If we drafted Keandre Miller, we probably don't get Celebrini.
I don't know about that.
Come on now.
It's hard. I guess
Come
it's
on
the
now.
butterfly effect. So sure.
Yeah. If we end up second worst in the league that year,
Yeah.
we don't
Whatever.
get Celebrini.
We don't need to.
So I want to
Dwell on it too
I want to
much.
say thank you to Ryan Merkley. Right?
No, thank
Helping
you
us
to
out.
Doug Wilson Jr. for picking.
Yeah, there you go.
Ryan
That's
Merkley.
good too. Yeah. Fantastic. All right.
Get on with
We're
it.
getting on with it. Here we are. Guys, this is the last episode other than
We'll do one more next
wrap.
week, but it'll be. I think it's gonna be recorded. I don't think it's gonna be live.
Okay.
So it's be our last live for a while. We are looking to do a draft lottery in person
Yeah.
show like we did last season, and also the actual draft. I'm assuming the Sharks are going to do the draft party again because I think it's been successful
Yeah.
the last couple of years.
Yeah. It's good fan engagement for them and everything too.
Yeah. So nothing set in stone yet, but we'll get working on that. So you'll be able to find us in the arena like before.
Yeah.
And we'll get some interviews of players going. I'm sure Graham will join us if he can, so he can give his insights on all of the picks that were going and all the prospects that are getting picked and all that stuff. So.
And we're
We'll
gonna
get some
figure out. I don't know what or when we're doing.
We might
this
just
whole thing,
do
so-
a recorded episode of us pulling these as well.
Okay. And
That'd
then
be
we'll
fun.
figure out how we're gonna get some of these to some of our members.
Yeah.
Perhaps. If you're not a member, there's a button somewhere. Click it and become a member.
Someone asked earlier that the member and subscriber is different. Subscriber is you're subscribing to the channel, so you get
Yes.
notifications when we go live. A member is actually paying monthly $2.99. Is that what it is?
Donating
$1.99?
monthly. Yeah.
Right.
You are supporting the show monetarily monthly, and we appreciate you doing that.
For a very cheap cup of coffee, because coffee is very expensive in the Bay Area. So
Truly.
yes, once a month you buy us a cheap coffee, and we say
Thank
thanks.
you.
we share it.
And we share it.
Dear God. Okay. Anything else here? We good?
No, let's go CUDA.
Yes.
I did buy tickets.
Okay.
So I didn't realize this. So the first round, they're the lower seed. It's a best of 3 series, and it's all on the road. So the
Okay.
tickets that they're selling was the second round, which is what I got. So I got the first game of the second round, which means there'll be game 3 of a 5-game series. And I got tickets to it, so maybe we will go. And that's not
Nice.
even going to be for another 2 to 3 weeks
Yeah,
if they get out the first round.
Yeah.
So, yes, I will be paying attention to the Barracuda. We kicked around the idea of doing a show for the Barracuda, this show, but I don't think we're going to be able to do it. Just schedule-wise, it's a lot
Yeah.
on us. So, unfortunately, we won't be doing that. But
Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven coffee, yes, that's 7-Eleven coffee for us. One 7-Eleven coffee every month.
It's a big thing of coffee, though, for 7-Eleven coffee.
Right.
You get a lot.
Right.
Keep you awake for a while.
Yes.
Anyway. All right. I think we are all good. So I guess that does it. Guys, again, thank you for being with us all season long. Again, the next show that we do will probably be a recorded one, so this is the last time we're going to be talking with you live for at least a while. I always appreciate you guys in the chat, always jumping in there with some fun things for us to talk about, the banter back and forth. It's always fantastic. It's the reason I love doing these live shows as opposed to the recorded ones. So again, thank you guys for making this season as much fun as it has been for us. Again, we've struggled through so many seasons now with this team, but
Got beat off walls.
I always come to every week to do this show, and I know that I've got a whole bunch of people in there that are enjoying it, and it makes this a lot of fun to do. So again, thank you for being a part of the show for another horrible season. So on that note, unless you've got anything else to say,
we have a wonderful community.
Yeah.
It's always fun to do this. We created a fantasy league, and that is a very active league. If you are interested in joining, I'm sure there might be 1 or 2 spots. If you are, you can just email thefinfactor@gmail.com and let me know, and I'll let you fill in those spots, which it is a keeper league, and we can go over the rules and all that mumbo jumbo. But yes, the community is great and very supportive of one another, and it makes it fun, and we enjoy it, and we like being here every time we do a show.
Yeah.
It's great.
and no matter how many nice things we have to say about you guys, there will be no sleepovers. And on that note, for Super Producer Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
When we see you.
whenever we see you next. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive